So does this mean that service providers cannot embark on their 5G journey without first adopting and implementing NFV?
My honest impression is not sure. In some case, it's not necessary to deploy NFV at all because it fully depends on their service requirements. If ultra-low latency is necessary and the virtualization cannot meet such a requirement because of that overhead, why operator need to deploy the NFV? It's no make sense. So it's fully depends on the user scenario and the corresponding service requirements.
I would say definitely. I mean, the point is that wherever you go into 5G and wherever you go into, on the one hand, the use cases and the requirements we're trying to address, and on the other hand, in the potential costs that would imply if you don't virtualize the infrastructure, the only way in which you can achieve this is by relying on NFV and software-enabled networks. I don't see any other way of doing it.
Well, the objective is to make sure that if NFV is key to the 5G communities, that we understand the requirements, first the use cases, then the requirements, and we understand, what needs to be enhanced in the current work that we have done. So the current specifications, do they need any update and so on? Are there any topics that we have not addressed so far, which are important, that needs to be addressed and launched and so on? So these are all the different aspects. And of course, this is ongoing dialogue and iterations. And we also value proof of concepts, prototypes, kind of closed loop as well with more real implementation. So we also hope to get, some of these proof of concepts, test bed and so on, from these different entities to be contributed to the ISG.
It all depends on what we mean by 5G. I mean, if you look at 5G as a radio technology, obviously you don't need to wait for NFV to perform trials on 5G technology, demonstrate how much bandwidth you can get. There are already many trials, European projects on that. But if you look at 5G as an overall concept, if you want to meet the requirements that have been specified by NGMN, for example, or that even 3GPP is about to specify, all these requirements about network elasticity, creating a versatile network, well, you need some form of virtualization. So rather than reinventing the wheel, it seems quite logical to build the 5G network on NFV. So in that sense, yes, you need to have some form of NFV infrastructure as a basis to deploy a fully fledged 5G network.